As if the McCrispy couldn't get any better, Bacon and Ranch just entered the chat. The Bacon Ranch McCrispy, available at participating McDonald's for a limited time. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are the greatest, but let me play devil's advocate here. Let's see. So, no, that's a good thing. That's definitely not a problem. Reese's, you did it. You stumped this charming devil.
The Purple Mafia, with your host, Paladino Joey.
Well, we'll see. The doctors would disagree, but what do they know?
So let's just say that you'll pay me because it's in your interest to pay me.
Is it worth it? I mean, you've won. Do you want to wipe everybody out?
I don't feel I have to wipe everybody out, Tom. Just my enemy. That's all. My father taught me many things. He taught me, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
These are wonderful things that we've achieved, and there's no limit to where we can go from here.
Welcome to the family here on Purple Mafia. It is Sunday, November the 11th, 2012. Happy Veterans Day. This is episode number 126 of Purple Mafia, which is available on the sportstuff.com and on iTunes. I thank each and every one of you always for downloading and listening to this show. It is a great pleasure to be a part of your week once again, this time a little bit earlier than previous weeks because, my busy schedule in the month of November with the lawn cleanups. I like to try to get it done before the regular week comes in, so didn't take calls this week. My apologies to those of you out there, but we'll be back to normal after the coming bye week here, as that's exactly where we're headed, the bye week, and a victory in the bye week. First and foremost, though, of course, you might want to know that I am your host, Joey Awajan, Paladino Joey. Dylan Richardson was the voice you heard way back at the beginning, introducing me as Paladino Joey, and I thank that very much. Thank you very much, Dylan, the executive producer of the sportstuff.com. He's the one that obviously, helped this show get started on the sportstuff.com. So, to the point, the Minnesota Vikings victors this week, so I'm a little bit more calm. This will be a little bit more easygoing show, I guess, than we've had in the past several weeks. Jarius Wright exists. He's no longer a myth or a urban legend. He exists. John Carlson caught a pass as well. So a lot of myths and legends came to existence. They're no longer myth and legend. They're actually living, breathing human beings. Yes, sir. Okay, we knew they were, but I'm just saying, as a Viking fan, you kind of were wondering for a while. And overall, hey, this was an overall chill game for the Vikings today. And that's probably that's the closest thing we had to that was the Tennessee game. That was just a 30-7 romping, 31-7 if I remember correctly, romping. Today, 34-24 is your final. Detroit led the NFL in fourth quarter points coming into the season, and they got 14 more points this year. Unfortunately for them, Minnesota had 18 points in the fourth quarter, so the Vikings absolutely, dare I say, dominant in this game. The main guy, the main star of the game, without a doubt, is Adrian Peterson. Without a doubt, he's leading the NFL in rushing yards, 171 yards today, including a 61-yard scamper to pay dirt. That was just crazy, because at the time he had about 82, and then it was at the third quarter, scampers for a 61-yarder. That was basically all she wrote at that point. I mean, you just knew it. It was mid-fourth quarter. That was the quote-unquote dagger for this football game. That made it 31-17 at that time. So, Adrian Peterson, absolutely awesome. Christian Ponder actually looked like a quarterback again. He kind of looked good again for the first time in forever. Looked awfully similar to the guy about a couple of weeks ago, well, about a month and a half or so ago, against, San Francisco and such, about a month ago. the San Francisco type game there. Tennessee was okay, but he had his first turnovers of the year in that game. Quarterback rating of 114 today. Just, hey, very good stuff. We'll take it. That's basically where we got to stand at this point. So, before I kind of get deeper into the actual game review, we got to get to the Facebook page, facebook.com/Purple Mafia Show, and of course the mentions on Twitter at Purple Mafia Show or twitter.com/Purple Mafia Show, whichever you want to do. It's probably better to just say at, I guess. So like it or follow those pages would be appreciated. But yeah, it's just, we don't have to get pissed off, at least for this week. And we go into the bye feeling semi-good about ourselves. At 6-4, not great. Still a long road ahead of us. And Adrian Peterson said that as well, just because what we're in for, at least the next 4 weeks, with Green Bay and Chicago in each and every one of the next 4 weeks after the bye. To think we got to visit Chicago and visit Green Bay in back-to-back weeks. If we can come out of that in a split, that would be pretty good. If we somehow swept that, it'd be like, holy cow, who knows? But I'm not even going there. I'm not even going to dare go there. So, speaking of predictions, I guess we're going to open up with a couple of comments by Mark Carlson and Dave Hickey. Mark Carlson says, I have to say, because this was a thread earlier I wrote last week, we'll just continue from where I left off, because there's some good stuff said when I was basically saying I don't even know if I want to make predictions anymore, because the way this year has been, it's just been a bunch of randomizing. I mean, every time you think a team has a bad pass defense, we end up scorching them for 300. Or, and every time, or excuse me, it's the opposite. Whenever you think they have a bad pass defense, they end up getting like 3 turnovers on Ponder, and he gets no yards whatsoever. Or say this team's rush defense is super bad, and next thing you know, they're shutting down Adrian Peterson, or vice versa. Like, they have a really good rush defense, Adrian's blowing through for 140. So it's just so random. This has been about the most random year ever for predictions, so I got a little frustrated about it. Anyhow, to the point, or to Mark Carlson, what he had to say is, I have to say, if predictions were something to bank on, Wall Street would look very different. And as far as the Vikings go, if anyone has been a fan for very long, they already know how this awesome team can beat the best and lose to the worst. So you are right on the money, Joey. Accurate as anyone with the facts. Great show. Keep up the good work. I will keep listening. Mark from Iowa. So, thank you very much, Mark. I do appreciate that. Always love the kind words from Mark Carlson. He's a good guy. Dave Hickey. Yep, this is where it gets it's where it gets interesting what he has to say here. It's very cool, actually, of him, what he said. He said, hey, Joey, I didn't mean to piss you off. I could tell you were upset, and I haven't been listening that long. I really do enjoy your show. I wasn't calling you a homer. I was saying to the people I work with that I'm no homer when it comes to picking. Oh, I hit the infamous see more button. Sorry. There we go. Picking every game every week. I thought the Vikings could sneak out a win against the Seahawks. Man, was I wrong about that. If we had a quarterback, we probably would have won. Yeah, that's a good point, at least in that game. My goodness, 63 yards passing? It's like, really? But yeah, he says, I'm picking a loss against the Detroit Lions. Don't get me wrong, Joey, you keep making your picks. I respect the fact you even call out the points. Keep up the good work, and I'll keep listening. So thank you very much for that, Dave. I do appreciate that, and I do. I mean, everything you had to say there, that was really cool. And yeah, it looks like this slight misunderstanding on both sides there. I mean, obviously, nobody was mad at each other. It's just kind of a little confusion. So that's cool. And for coming out and saying what you had to say there, I'm gonna give you a gold star. Very cool. Thank you very much for what you had to say there, Dave. I appreciate it. And an early gold star just like last week. And the gold star staying in the state of Iowa this week. Yes, the gold star. The weekly comment, the comment of the week, so to speak. Is my studio audience might be wondering what that is. So let's do a little scrolling up here. This is where things get interesting, don't they? Yeah, it's these Facebook groups. You know what I love about them? It's like you go to our page, you go to it, and it like shifts. Everything shifts around, and you're wondering, where did it go? Yeah. Anyhow, that's where things go there. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there was a time where I was asking, and I'll just say it now. Might as well say it now. Everyone, please rate and review Purple Mafia on iTunes. We need more reviews. This would be greatly appreciated. So, yeah, if you guys could out there, rate Purple Mafia on iTunes. If you like the show, give it a nice rating and say what you have to say, if you can. Even mention what needs improvement. Always welcome for that. Our critics are our friends, for they do show us our faults. So, Percy Harvin missed the game, unfortunately, with the ankle injury. I posted an article about that from Yahoo. He was saying he's doubtful, and in the end, he just flat missed the game, and it's just one of those things. It's not much you can do, unfortunately, in that category. So, let's go over here first. A couple comments from the likes of Tony Coleman and Sebastian Balls. If a thing would work, it would be nice. Yeah, there we go. Tony Coleman posts a picture of his young son, him and his young son, wearing purple and gold. He puts in the title of the picture, "Go Vikings," he shouts. Or Y-Wings, there we go. He shouts, very cool. Thank you for that, Tony. Gotta like it, bringing the youngster into the Purple Mafia once again. Do appreciate that. I should save this picture and put it in the Purple Mafia archives. That's what I meant to do in the past, just to keep it a part of Purple Mafia lore. It's like, why not? It's cool. Sebastian Balls. Well, I'll save that for later because it's kind of a closing comment about the game. So let's be careful with that for the time being. Well, the game started out in a very positive way, and it's because, with Percy Harvin out, Jarius Wright finally is activated, and what a nice start. I mean, what an amazing start, and it was a sign of what was to come in this football game. You're seeing Christian Ponder cock back and throw a deep pass.
Oh, my God!
In the end, you're just absolutely stunned. Christian Ponder just threw a deep pass. Are you kidding me? Yeah, he threw a deep pass and completed it. That's pretty cool. I guess we'll take it. Very exciting. It was a 54-yard catch, and it was caught by Jarius Wright. That's an even bigger mystery. And then next thing you know, the next play, a touchdown pass to Jarius Wright from about 3 yards out, I believe, if I remember correctly, and 7-0 Vikings. Beautiful. 3-yard gain. Yep. Just a beautiful start to the game offensively for the Vikings. This, of course, after they shut down the Detroit Lions, as we like to call them, Detroit Lions, on their first possession in the game. So there you go. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. The other team wins the coin toss, so that means you get the ball in the second half. I actually kind of like that sometimes for momentum purposes. Shut them down. Then we get the ball, score immediately with we'll call him a new weapon, Jarius Wright, who actually was really good in college. Finally getting to see him play, and what an awesome debut for him. Doesn't get better than that. And the game just kind of pretty much kept heading that direction. Vikings offense struggled a little bit here and there, but you never really got the feeling like the Vikings were in extreme danger of losing the game. There's always the possibility, because look what happened last year. Vikings taking a 20-0 lead. That was a 23-0 lead against the Lions in the Dome last year, looking awesome. Next thing you know, Lions win 27-23, if I remember correctly. And it was like, okay, that was great. But we haven't really seen the Vikings blow huge leads this year. And if I'm, for whatever reason, blanking on something, I mean, I should know, right, if the Vikings blew a huge lead this year. But they've been very good at least hanging on when they build a decent lead, hanging on and winning the football game. And, of course, we know the Vikings did that today. Both kickers absolutely, I'll just bring this up now, I guess. Both kickers, just the young and the old, we'll say. Jason Hansen, one of the greatest kickers of all time. What is he, 41 now? He's still kicking. He's just making everything 40 yards out. He's 42. Good God. But he's making kicks from 40-plus yards, making kicks, chip shots, everything. Whatever it is, He made it. I've seen him make over 50 yards, and still to this day at the older age. And then you got Blair Walsh, who's about as automatic as you're going to get in the NFL right now. A young rookie, one of the great draft picks for the Vikings in this year's the 2012 draft. Just absolutely spectacular. You can get a kicker that's that good, and via the draft, you got to love it. And a guy that not many people really had on their radars. All of us draft rubes, we'll call us. It was just continuing to be. Maybe he'll be our Jason Hansen, I guess. Maybe he'll be here for 20 years. Who knows? Okay, well, we hope, right? So yeah, back to the Facebook page. Yeah, if I might be so bold, right? Sebastian Balls does you gotta like this hashtag. He says getting lucky. Hashtag getting lucky, and then there's a little smiley face with a tongue sticking out. And I do the hashtag saying, sounds about right, but we needed it after the previous 2 weeks. Sebastian continues saying, we still going to lose. Well, look at you. Look at this guy. Well, the one thing is, I picked the Vikings to lose this game because of how things have been going of late. But the one deal is, it's like if the Vikings were going to get any type of cute little win to keep our hopes alive, it was going to be this week because the Vikings virtually always beat the Lions in the Dome. So it doesn't surprise me that we won the game. It's just more of I didn't pick them to win just because the way things are going and because Detroit's been playing a lot better. But that's classic Purple Mafia predictions this year. Hey, I'm glad I was wrong, though. Thank God for that. We'll take it. Cedric Paulding continuing. This is actually a kind of a closing comment. We'll say it anyway because we'll close this thread here. He says, we should make a strong push for the playoffs if Ponder plays like he did today. Oh, yeah. If Ponder plays like he did today, we will have a legit chance of going 10-6 or so. What's sad is, shoot, even at 10-6, you still might miss the playoffs. That's how tough it can be sometimes. Vikings would have to go 4-2 in the final 6 games to get 10-6. So, it's still a steep hill to climb, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Obviously, Adrian Peterson is... He's playing like Terrell Davis right now. The guy is unbelievable. Terrell Davis before he got hurt, and Adrian Peterson still playing like Terrell Davis after he got hurt. So, absolutely amazing run for Adrian Peterson. I just cannot put into words how amazing he is right now. Unbelievable. Speaking of Adrian Peterson, he officially now has his 5th 1,000-yard season, passing Robert Smith for the most in Vikings history. So if there was any question in previous weeks, obviously he leads the Vikings in 100-yard games. He leads the Vikings in rushing touchdowns, in rushing yards. Now he's the most 1,000-yard seasons. Is there any doubt who the best running back in Vikings history is? Absolutely not. It's just, it's kindergarten knowledge at this point. As much as Chuck Foreman was a great running back, Robert Smith, if he stayed healthy, his numbers would have been significantly better if he stayed healthy and also did not retire at a young age. But, that's just how it goes. Some people, they just want to step away because obviously he had multiple ACLs over the course of his career, so they can kind of understand his paranoia of getting the hell out of the NFL before, next thing you know, his knees are like, a chronic disaster. Like, unfortunately for some people out there. We all know Barry Sanders also retired at age 29, as did James Brown many, many, many years ago in Cleveland. So it's just the way it goes sometimes. Not everybody sticks around. Let's hope Adrian Peterson... 30 is that magic number, too, with running backs. So that's another reason why they walked away. They didn't want to experience decline. Hopefully Adrian does not. Right now, he's an absolute unstoppable force in this league. Hopefully we can get him back in the NFC title game again to redeem what took place last time he was in it. Tony Coleman commenting on what I had to say about Adrian there. He says, I remember a couple of years ago I was in the stadium for a game versus the Seahawks. It was announced that Peterson had just hit 1,000 yards. However, before the game was over, he lost a few yards and finished the game under 1,000. That's funny. Yeah, because he got knocked back, basically, I believe it was. Yep. He didn't officially hit it until the next week. I've always just found that interesting, that's all. And, yeah, I think that's hilarious. I'm sure that must have been 2009, I said, and Tony agrees with that, or says must have been because that's the last time the Seahawks were in the Dome. Vikings don't really play the Seahawks that much because of just scheduling. We play our division half of the season, and then certain teams in the AFC and NFC. We all know that already, though. It is funny, though, how that can happen. There he is, 1,000 yards. Oh, nope, he's back to 997. Oops. So sometimes it happens that way. That's just NFL for you, I suppose. I believe that there's one more comment remaining. Wow. Yep, not as active this week, and I admittedly wasn't either. Just, it's, like I said, it's a lawn cleanup week, trying to kind of lay low for one more week. At least it was a nice, easygoing win. That's the good part. So we can all listen to the show and enjoy it this week, not be pissed off or totally hating on the team. They're still alive, which will probably be the title of the show. Sebastian says, Skull Vikes got a win. A good one. A good one at that. Ponder over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Emphasis on 0 picks, he says. Peterson over 100 yards and then 1,000 plus this year. Good way to go into the bye. Good stuff. Right, I have to say my favorite this week was lack of Jenkins. I can't stand that guy. Thank you, Rudolph and Carlson, for the big plays and the O-line. Yes, you tripped Ponder and Peterson a few times, but amazing blocks and a well-fought game. Defense came huge till the end. Now, my last comment. Thank you, Vets, for your service and allowing the Vikes to play and kick ass. Awesome thought there, Sebastian. Yep. Awesome thought. Yep. And yeah, thank you again, veterans. So yes, let's do that. Let's right here and now. Let's give all the veterans over the many years, 200 plus years of this country. Let's give them a moment of silence for everything they lived and died for the United States of America. And yes, thank you again, veterans, young and old, and near and far. Thank you very much for everything you've done for the United States and for us all, and for freedom. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated. And thank you to the new members of the Facebook page. Do appreciate it. Shonda and Brendan, welcome aboard. Thank you very much for joining the Purple Mafia family, making us a part of your making us a part of your week, listening to talk, commenting about Viking football. Don't be afraid to comment on the page, but if you don't, that's up to you. Thanks again for that. So that'll conclude the Facebook section. A brief tangle on Twitter here. We will go with, here we go, Jake Severinson with a few comments. Very cool. Yep, we got a few last week as well, but yep, he says, listening to Trouble at Quarterback right now, the name of the show. Perfect. And yeah, that's the goal. I always like to try to paint a picture. I think I said this about last week's show too. Like to paint a picture of how the week went in the title of the show, basically. Try to sum it up in a couple of words. Trouble at Quarterback. For this week, it's pretty much going to be We're Still Alive or Staying Alive, whatever you want to say, with that old song. Something like that. Because the Vikings are definitely still alive. That's a good thing. Jake continues saying, I love Leslie, but I want a new coach who can develop a QB, i.e. Gruden or Reed. Pipe dreams, though. And yeah, I'm a big Gruden fan as well. There are some people out there, I guess he's kind of like in one of those weird, what do they call it? He's kind of been blacklisted for some strange reason. I don't know what it is, if it's his ego or what it is that people don't seem to want him around. I don't know. Yeah, and then the other possibility is the whole he's really good at TV, why take him away? Kind of like Jeff Van Gundy in the NBA type of situation, where he's a fairly young man who could still coach for another God knows how long, but he's good at TV and maybe he's blacklisted. Who knows? But I sure liked what John Gruden did in his NFL, his still fairly brief NFL career as a head coach with getting the Raiders from a terrible team to an extremely dangerous team, and then eventually taking the Bucs to a Super Bowl championship. That was very well done there. Jake continuing again. It's by the way, it's at Jake_Severson. So if you want to check him out or follow him, there you go. He says, I listened to Nope and liked it, so I'll tune in every time and spread the word. Only problem, I'm in Packer country. It's like, ouch, No, that's okay. There's plenty of Wisconsinites that listen to this show. Yeah, you gotta like that. Wisconsinites. That's what I like about these shows. They're all over the country. It says one last thing. Jarvis Jones, linebacker, Georgia, would be a huge upgrade at the linebacking core, but we might have to use our number one pick at quarterback. Well, that's one of those conversations I guess we'll just have to kind of hold off on for the time being, though. I would love to get a linebacker. Vikings do need... I think the Vikings' top needs going into the 2013 draft are linebacker and wide receiver. Though, heck, wide receiver looked a little better today with Jarius Wright doing well. Quarterback looked better, too, which is kind of funny. But again, it's one of those wait-and-see type things. Jake continues saying Greenway is solid. That's it, not a superstar, but those other two could take a hike. And that's kind of the common thread on Greenway. He's solid, but not a superstar. And that's kind of what I've been saying since 2007. When people call him like a superstar, I just kind of roll my eyes like, no, he's not. He's not. That's like saying, I don't even know now. It's like saying Kevin Martin in the NBA is a superstar. He's not. It's kind of like that. He's good, but he'll never, he's never going to like be this dominant star, that everybody's got to have. But of course, Greenway's getting paid like a superstar. Got it like that. Jake, final comment says, John Gruden planning a return to coaching per Greg Rosenthal? ? So yeah, that's something to check out. It's the link he put up there. Maybe do check that out at some point. I retweeted it. So if you want to scroll down and check it out sometime on the Purple Mafia Twitter, there you go. Do give that a check. Yeah, so that'll conclude the Twitter section of Purple Mafia Show today. So do again, like and or follow the Facebook and Twitter accounts. Facebook.com/Purple Mafia Show @ Purple Mafia Show. There you go. Goofy rhyme there. That was not even intentional. It just came out that way. The Bears. Oh, the Bears. That's the Vikings' next opponent 2 weeks from now. And the good news is the whole lawn cleanup nonsense should be wrapped up by then. I pray to God. We have a bye week coming up, of course, as you all know. So, yeah, glad. I did not miss a game this year. I'm very proud of myself. I'm very glad to be, and I'm very proud to be a part. Very proud to be hosting this show for you and bringing it to you. But at the same time, I'm proud that I was able to finally get through the lawn cleanup season without missing a game. I think this is the first year I've ever done that. Very cool. Maybe in 2010 I went through it. I can't remember. Maybe I don't remember if I missed a game that year. But of course, that year the listenership was in a major decline because everybody was pissed off with going from an NFC title game to being a horrible team within a few months. That was a bit tough to swallow. Yeah. But yeah, we play the Bears 2 weeks from now. That's going to be great. But first, maybe look at a couple more stats still. The Vikings and Lions game. As mentioned, Christian Ponder, 75% completion percentage. Just absolutely amazing. He was only sacked once. Vikings only got 2 sacks at Matthew Stafford, who had a very good game. He did throw an interception, though, believe it or not. There was a funny play that a lot of people thought Antoine Winfield had an interception where a Detroit Lion deflected the ball in the air, and Winfield caught it. Clearly, it hit the ground and bounced into Winfield's hands, but we can all hope, right? It's just one of those things. Chad Greenway did get an interception, though that was the one Minnesota Viking to officially get a turnover. Though, Antoine Winfield recovered a fumble that was knocked loose by... Yes, that's right. Knocked loose by Jamarcus Sanford. Yet another forced fumble for Jamarcus Sanford. Amazing run for him. 4 4 forced fumbles on the year for Jamarcus Stanford. Very happy with what's happened there. Though, why am I forgetting his name now? That's kind of funny. Oh my goodness. I'll come back to that in a second. the guy who's supposed to be starting at there, Mr. Raymond, excuse me. He did return today. I don't know why I was losing it there. But yeah, Mr. Raymond, who started the first couple of weeks, had an ankle injury. He's back now. But Jamarcus Stanford played a lot in this game as well. They might be splitting some time at the safety position. We'll see how that goes. Kevin Williams had a pretty nice sack in the game, and as did Everson Griffin. Nice to see him back in the fray, getting sacks again. Everson Griffin kind of disappeared the last few weeks. Now he's got 3 sacks on the year. Not exactly knocking anyone's socks off, but at least he isn't playing linebacker like he was during training camp. That was a bit strange to see. Yet, indeed. Antoine Winfield continuing to lead the Vikings in tackles, way ahead of everybody else. Just awesome game for him, without a doubt. Absolutely spectacular, and there's no other way to put it. Looks like Green Bay has a bye this week, believe it or not. Yep, Green Bay has a bye this week, so we'll see them next week. When we're on the bye, we'll see them play probably next week. Oh, goody. That's probably who will be on our local channel. Some people are happy about that, and some people not. The Bears playing tonight against the Houston Texans, literally, as we speak. And, or at least Houston, is up 13-6 with 4:38 remaining in the fourth quarter. Bears offense back to the doldrums again, and the Houston Texans looking to get it done here. This is definitely a defensive matchup, of course. You get 2 of the best defenses in all of football. Maybe, just maybe, slight chance of Super Bowl preview here. I doubt it, but it seems like every year the future Super Bowl contenders tend to, for some reason, wind up playing each other during the regular season. Is this it? Probably not, but maybe. Maybe. Bears only down by 7, but hey, the clock's ticking and they need to get sticking. They sure do. We'll just see where this thing heads, though. It's they do have the ball. There's your little live. Forget about that. Jason Campbell, incomplete pass down the middle, 4th down on the Bears 20. Yeah, that's about it for that. So they're going to have to get a stop and hope for the best there. Yep. Not saying I like the Bears, but I guess, I don't know, I'm just saying. Let's just say I know the feeling when your offense is struggling. Jay Cutler, 2 interceptions and hurt. Oh, goody. So I guess the Bears aren't going to any Super Bowl. Anyhow, we'll move on from that, huh? But yeah, that's what we're going to be playing 2 weeks from now. And I'm sure it's going to be a very tough game. Vikings almost never win in Chicago. It'll probably be cold out, it'll be 2 weeks from now. Who knows? But it seems like every time the Vikings go to Chicago, it's windy and cold, and they lose. So that's I'm not going to make a prediction on that one right now. Maybe, I'm not going to make a prediction this week because it's 2 weeks away. Other than my only prediction is I don't think the Vikings win because they basically never win in Chicago this time of year. And the Bears, if they're coming off a disappointing loss to the Houston Texans, at home, mind you, if they're coming off a loss to them, I got to think they're going to really step it up and beat their division rival. I don't have a very good feeling going into the game. I have a sneaky. I think Adrian Peterson will probably have yet another explosive game, but unfortunately, I think Christian Ponder is going to struggle again. How many Viking quarterbacks have you seen struggle in Chicago with those sideways type wins that tend to show up in Chicago this time of year? Yeah, don't have the most optimistic feeling going into this one. So I guess I'm going to leave it at that. No Brado today. Yeah, there's strange. It's actually kind of strange. This might be a really short show. I haven't done a show this short in I don't know how many years. Where it comes to Purple Mafia, maybe Brave the Wild, they're a half hour or something. But yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't think I should make it that short. That just isn't right, is it? Where is everybody? I should have been commenting more on the pages. But, I mean, yeah, people weren't really commenting that much either this week, unless I'm missing something. Maybe I should give that a check quick. But it... we'll continue, though. Kelvin Johnson, yeah, what the heck? I have to comment about this. I mean, Kelvin Johnson, 12 catches, and, yeah, 12 catches, ladies and gentlemen. 207 yards in the game. Of course, he did. Yeah, he lost the fumble. He's one of the guys, or he's the guy that fumbled in the game. Jamarcus Sanford forcing it. But yeah, Kelvin Johnson, 207 yards. And part of the reason, obviously, given by the announcers, and of course I agree with what they had to say here. Well, the Bears are playing from behind, so they're going to be throwing like crazy. And what's funny is the guys did hang on to the football for the most part. They actually did catch them. There were some disappointing drops as well, though. Like Joique Bell dropped one that was like, it wasn't a perfect pass. Like the angle wasn't perfect, but it looked like a routine play where you just catch it and move your feet for a couple strides, and there's your first down, and the Lions continue to drive. Unfortunately, though, they were over zillions. Yeah, the Lions did not get a third down conversion. At least like midway through the fourth quarter, they hadn't completed one in the game. They did get one. Yeah, yay for them. 1 for 9 in the game. I believe that was when the game was already out of reach at that point. 1 for 9 for Detroit. That is one of the absolute Achilles heels for the game. 4 for 15 for the Vikings. Not exactly the most exciting, fantastic stat of all time. But seriously, it's just like one third down conversion. You're probably not going to win on the road with that type of efficiency. They just weren't clutch. There was incomplete passes when they needed those first downs, and of course the running backs, Michael LeSure, Joique Bell, just could not get it done. Only 43 yards on the ground for LeSure, and only one run attempt by Joique Bell for 4 yards. So they kind of didn't use the running game much in this Sunday. And, of course, like you say, they're playing from behind. They're trying to get moving. And, of course, their strength is their pass offense, not their run offense. Of course, complete opposite to what it used to be about circa 20 years ago. You had a guy by the name of Barry Sanders. It was all running back then. And it wasn't power running. It was skill running. Adrian's kind of a combination of both. I mean, that 61-yard scamper was spectacular. Yeah, the blocking was really good. But at the same time, the explosiveness and the timing of his moves, and then getting into that third gear, as they call it, the timing of it was perfect, and that's why Adrian Peterson is the best running back in football today, hitting the 4 digits yet again for the 5th time in his career. For some reason, they haven't updated the stats yet, unfortunately, so I guess we'll just have to do a little bit of brief math here. Adrian Peterson came into the game with 957 yards, walks out with 171 yards in the game. Unbelievable to come. And he's at 1128. 28. There you go. 1128 already. And we still got, 6 games to go. Oh my. I don't know if he's going to get 2,000 yards or anything, but gosh, he might have one of those. I mean, he's had an 1,800 yard season, so that wouldn't surprise me if he got that. I'd like to see. He's got to be having probably the best season of all time for a running back coming off an ACL injury. I mean, there's no doubt he has got to be the best of all time. I mean, we know what happened to Terrell Davis. He was a second, third stringer for a couple of years. Basically, he was not a starting running back anymore, and then he just quit because it didn't work out anymore. And you look at Adrian Peterson leading the league in yards. Unbelievable. Absolutely sick. And last year he had 970 yards. He was having a pretty good year last year with 12 touchdowns, 12 games into the year. This year the touchdown numbers, not quite as good. He's got 7 now in the year, but yeah, the 11-28, 10 games into the year. He's, man, oh man, he is having one hell of a year as a... He's got to be the comeback player of the year if it's not Peyton Manning. It's one of the two. I'd like to see it go to Adrian just because, it's such an unbelievable comeback, but at the same time, he got a neck injury with Peyton Manning, and he's playing really damn good over there in Denver, even though the Broncos aren't necessarily the best team in the world. They did get 36 today, though. They are doing pretty good. They've won 4 in a row now, which kind of surprises me. 301 yards and a touchdown for Peyton Manning. 27 of 38. Man, they should give the comeback player of the year to both of them. If they want to be fair, just give it to both. I mean, yeah, because this is incredible what you're seeing out of both of these guys. 21 touchdown passes on the year for Peyton Manning. 2,700 yards already. Man, he's back. As is Adrian Peterson. There's just no doubt about it. Detroit's passing game, decent today, not spectacular, like I said earlier. It was as good as it needed to be, I guess. It was nice to see, though, that Jarius Wright, who was targeted 5 times in today's game. Now they're using that stat. I like that, actually. Targeted 5 times today, 65 yards, 3 catches, and, of course, that touchdown. About as good a debut as you're going to get from a 4th-round wide receiver. And he looked awfully good. One final thing we'll say really quick is, why in the world do we not target Devin Aromashodu more? He was targeted 1 time. He caught it for a 31-yard gain, and he had a lot of yards after catch in those 31 yards. Why do we not target Devin Aromashodu more? I think he is a 3rd receiver in this league, and they're treating him like he's a 5th receiver, and I'm kind of disappointed about that. By the way, I agree with what Sebastian earlier said about Michael Jenkins. He that's a guy I would consider, he's a nice veteran and everything, and sometimes he'll have a decent game, but why are we targeting him more than Devin Aromashodu, who's got explosiveness, and actually he's caught the ball quite a few times this year. Like last year, he made a lot of drops. He drops the ball sometimes, but I think he improved this year, honestly. I don't understand why Devin Aromashodu is not targeted more often. And, everybody wants to be a offensive coordinator, don't we? And I guess that's what I would be saying. If I was the offensive coordinator, Devin Aromashodu would get targeted 4 times a game, at least. Yeah. Just like Jerome Simpson did, and he did less than Devin Aromashodu. And 1 target. Yeah. Cool. Well, that's the NFL for you. Kyle Rudolph, of course, amazing in the game. He's got 6 touchdowns on the year. That is, if you have him as your fantasy tight end, boy, oh boy, you're cashing in this year. Over 300 yards, 6 touchdowns. Yeah, that's pretty good numbers. About, was it 3/4 into the season now? No, we're not that far. What am I talking about? About a little past halfway. Yeah, little past halfway into the year. Still got 6 games to go. Awesome stats for Kyle Rudolph in his 2nd season. So with that, again, I will mention, I think the Vikings will not win in Chicago. Not trying to be Mr. Negative, but I'm trying to be Mr. Honest because, I'm going to ask you guys out there, do you think the Vikings can win in Chicago? Maybe you can post it on the Facebook page if you like. I'll try to keep up with that during the bye week. Even though I'll be a little bit busy, but I'll try to keep up with what's going on, especially this conversation. Do you think the Vikings can beat the Bears? I don't know. They can, but I don't think it's going to happen. I just don't. If they do, let's just say that would be an unbelievable accomplishment, and then who knows? Who knows where the team goes at that point? But I don't have a good feeling about it, and I'm going to leave it at that. So I want to thank all of you once again for listening. Sorry if the show is a tiny bit shorter than the past, but it's just, again, the schedule. But I'm thrilled to still get the show out to you. And I did get to every comment. So it's not like I was pushing people away. Like, nope, I'm not going to comment. I'm just going to rush through this thing and get out of here. I'm done. No way. I'm going to always give you guys the floor as much as I can. If it's one of those situations where there's 7 bajillion comments, and I'll at least get to a couple of everybody. I'm never going to shut anybody out. I'm going to at least get to everybody in some ways, unless of course the show gets so big that I can't do that. But we're not near that range at this point. San Francisco game almost seemed like it, but no, we haven't had too many of those, have we? So hopefully we do have one next week. Because I think if the Vikings beat the Bears, 2 weeks from now, Vikings beat the Bears in Chicago, there's going to be a lot of excited people here in Viking country and abroad. But until that happens, we are going to bid you guys adieu for 2 weeks. Have a nice bye week, everybody, and hope for the best going into Chicago. We'll talk to you then.